Hello, my name is Hassan Sorrells, and this is the Leadership Lessons from the Great Books podcast. Shorts. There's no co-host on these shorts episodes. These are now around 6 to 8 minute long observations, ideas, thoughts, or rants about the literature, philosophy, psychology, and even the theology of leadership. Because listening to me talk about leadership for now around 6 to 8 minutes is still better than reading and trying to understand yet another business book. Even the one you have in that Audible account that you only got halfway through by the end of a year. Cults of personality, of charisma, and even of power are easy to join and even easier to create. Emotional comfort in times of great psychological or economic anxiety, a narrowing of choices and autonomy, and unflagging loyalty and obedience are all hallmarks of cults and even cult-like behavior. And these aspects, these hallmarks, provide the source of a leader's power in a cult. The problem that followers of a cult leader, true believers all, bring to those who are not part of the belief system, well, the problem that they can bring is that they want everybody to be in the system, and thus they can extend their desire for control all the way to intimidation and even down to physical violence. And that's just the followers of a particular cult leader. Another real problem arises when other leaders, looking at the quote-unquote success of the cult leader, whether it's with product market fit or domination of a business category, they look at those successes and then they attempt to replicate that leader's behavior from what they've observed on the outside. Cults of personality and charisma last a long, long time in the business world. They fundamentally alter how leaders lead, and they transform the ground upon which and in which new leaders grow. Or, to state it another way for the business world, everyone supports a winner, and many people will not tolerate a loser. Of course, if a new leader, bucking the trends previously established by a cult-like leader, has no track record of success, then he or she is automatically a quote-unquote loser, even before having time to establish any type of record whatsoever. Thus, leaders slavishly and slavishly replicate the bad behavior of other leaders. Followers demand that type of behavior, and the vast majority will support and follow what seems familiar and comfortable. And of course, pathologies such as narcissism, psychopathy, and Machiavellianism then begin to run rampant in and around leadership structures. So, what is a leader to do when they have little interest in aping the tendencies of the cult of charisma and have less interest, or none at all, in the psychological comfort of their followers? What is a leader to do when they are highly conscientious and they are not driven by anxiety and stress, but they have chosen to be in an industry sector dominated by an avoidance of negative emotion and a high degree of narcissism? What is a leader to do when they are faced with a highly ossified bureaucratic structure built around replicating a cult of personality or of power that used to work, but market forces external to that bureaucratic structure have changed, and innovation internal in that structure has merely become a marketing term? Leaders must recognize that the courage to practically engage with a new path of leadership will not be easy, will not be welcomed, and will require a level of adaptation, grit, and tenacity that will have to move beyond the mere tactical or even the mere theoretical and into the realm of the practical and the strategic. To effectively create a counter to a cult-like personality, or the effects of a cult-like personality, or even the impact of cultish behavior, a leader must be willing and able to walk the long, lonely path. And well, that's it for me. Listen and subscribe to the Leadership Lessons from the Great Books podcast on all the major podcast players that you listen to podcasts on, including iTunes, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, and even Spotify. And please leave a 5-star review if you like the show. We need those reviews to grow, and it's the easiest way to make sure that this show gets into the ears of the leaders who need to hear it. And of course, tell all your friends. If you want to get started on the leadership path, HSCT Publishing's products and services can help your team do that. Check out our training webinars, coaching services, and more at leadershiptoolbox.us. We also have a video-based subscription service, that's software as a service, that can help your team become better at the individual level. 60 modules and over 100 hours of video and written content for you at leadingkeys.com. That's leadingkeys.com. We've also got books that will help you and your team grow. Pick up a copy today of My Boss Doesn't Care, 100 Essays on Disrupting Your Workplace by Disrupting Your Boss, and subscribe to the Little Red podcast I launched earlier this year with the same name as that Little Red book. My most recent book is 12 Rules for Leaders, the Foundation of Intentional Leadership. Co-written with contributions from Bradley Madigan, this is the book for right now that was written for leaders right now. Pick up a copy by heading over to 12rulesleadersbook.com/now. That's 12rulesleadersbook.com/now. You pay for shipping, and you'll get a copy of my second book as well. Finally, you can get all these books in paperback, hardcover, or as ebooks on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kobo, and any other place online you order books. Finally, HSCT Publishing is on YouTube. Like and subscribe to the video version of the Leadership Lessons for the Great Books podcast on the HSCT Publishing channel on YouTube. Just search for HSCT Publishing and hit the subscribe button. You'll get our weekly video updates, which is the video version of this podcast. And, of course, you're going to want to subscribe to my other podcast. That's right, I do more than one. The Hasan Sorrells Presents audio experience, where I talk more casually with a broader range of people about all matters that matter in the world today, from arts all the way to analytics. All right, that's it for me.